The scream lasted exactly 11 seconds. Not a moment more. Not a moment less. Then the biotech armor recoiled violently, tearing itself free from the woman's nervous system as if repulsed by her very existence. She collapsed onto the temple floor in a convulsing heap while medics rushed forward, their movements practiced, efficient and grimly familiar. This was the 17th failure of the month. The 409th since the armor had been unearthed 3 centuries earlier. From the observation gallery above, Arden Kresh watched in silence. The administrator's voice echoed across the chamber, dull with exhaustion. Next candidate will be processed in 6 hours. Dismissed. One by one the observers filed out. Arden did not. Her eyes remained fixed on the armor suspended within its containment field. It was beautiful. Terrifyingly so. Organic metal flowed across its surface like liquid frozen mid-motion, pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that suggested thought, intention, judgment. It was a relic of the Zenathi, a civilization extinct for 5,000 years, and it had proven lethally selective. Warriors, telepaths, engineers, priests, every psychological profile imaginable had stood where the woman had fallen. All had failed. "You're still here," a voice said behind her. Elder Morpheus stepped into the light, his presence marked by quiet authority and absence. His left arm ended at the elbow, severed decades ago when the armor had rejected him but spared his life. He was the only one to survive direct contact. "I'm thinking," Arden replied. Morpheus gave a humorless smile. "Everyone thinks they are special. Worthy. Strong enough. The armor doesn't care what you believe. It only cares what you are." Arden finally looked away from the armor. "Then what does it want?" "If I knew that," Morpheus said softly, "I'd still have my arm." He gestured toward the containment field. 409 have tried. The armor rejected them all. And yet we keep going. Why? Arden asked. "Because whoever bonds with it becomes unstoppable," Morpheus said. Strength multiplied 50-fold. Instant regeneration. Direct technological interface. Empires would fall. Wars would end. Arden returned her gaze to the armor. Not as a weapon. Not as a prize. As a problem. And problems she had spent her life fixing. "I want to be the next candidate." The words landed between them like a dropped tool. Simple, unexpected, impossible. Morpheus laughed once, sharply. "You're a maintenance technician. You fix environmental systems. What makes you think you're special?" "Nothing," Arden said without hesitation. "I'm not special. I'm not a warrior or a genius or chosen by anything. I fix broken things because they need fixing. Maybe that's what it wants." Morpheus studied her with his remaining eye. "That is the most naive thing I've heard in decades." "Then let me be naive in the containment chamber," Arden replied, "instead of up here." Silence stretched between them. "You understand rejection usually means death," Morpheus said at last. 63 candidates were killed outright. The rest were crippled. "I understand. Why risk it?" Arden didn't look away from the armor. "Because it's been sitting here for 300 years waiting for someone to ask the right question. Everyone asks if they're worthy of the armor. Maybe we should be asking if we're worthy of finishing what its creators started." 6 hours later, Arden stood alone inside the containment chamber. The armor pulsed, its light seeming to press against her skin. Morpheus' voice came through the intercom. "Last chance to reconsider. Lower the field." The containment barrier dropped. The armor moved. It circled her once. Twice. Invisible sensors probing thoughts, memories, fears. Then it struck, slamming into her chest and flowing across her body like living mercury. Pain detonated through her nervous system as millions of neural connections formed at once. She screamed, but she did not move. It was inside her, reading her. Then it spoke, not in words but in understanding. Images flooded her mind. The Zenathi. Endless war. Entire galaxies burning. The armor was not built to conquer. It was built to end something that would not stop. "It hurts," Arden gasped. "Why does everyone fail?" "Because they want power," the armor replied. "You want purpose." The pain intensified. Testing. Waiting for surrender. Arden clenched her fists. "I don't want glory. I want to finish what you started." And she did not let go. The pain became unbearable. Then it became something else. The armor paused, suspended between rejection and acceptance. For 5 seconds the universe held its breath. Then the agony transformed, flowing into strength, clarity, expansion. The armor no longer invaded. It integrated. Arden felt everything. The molecular lattice of the chamber walls. The electrical patterns firing in Morpheus' brain. Quantum fluctuations in the containment generators. Her awareness stretched outward, vast and precise, yet perfectly controlled. It accepted you, Morpheus whispered, his voice shaking. After 300 years, it accepted someone. Arden looked down at her hands, now covered in flowing organic metal that shifted with her thoughts. It felt natural. Right. It didn't accept me because I'm worthy, she said quietly. It accepted me because I understand it. She turned to Morpheus. This armor isn't a weapon. It's a promise. The Zenathi had built it to end their war, not to fight forever. Everyone before her had wanted infinite power. The armor had waited for someone who understood that power must have an endpoint. What will you do now? Morpheus asked. Arden considered the galaxy, the endless conflicts, the wars that dragged on because no one had the strength to force peace. I'm going to finish them, she said. Every war that can be ended. Every battle that's gone on too long. Not through conquest. Through completion. That's impossible. Good, Arden replied calmly. I have impossible tools. She walked toward the exit, the armor adapting seamlessly to her movement. The temple doors opened automatically, recognizing a biosignature they had waited centuries to detect. The council will want to study you, Morpheus called after her. Control you. Weaponize you. Tell them the armor chose its bearer and its mission, Arden said without turning back. Tell them wars are ending, whether the powerful want them to or not. She stepped into the sunlight. The armor blazed with brilliance unseen for 5,000 years. Somewhere in the galaxy, a war was about to end. Arden Kresh did not announce her arrival. She did not issue ultimatums or declare herself ruler or savior. She simply appeared, on battlefields locked in endless stalemates, above planets ground down by centuries of war. Sensors failed to classify her. Weapons failed to track her. Armies learned too late that escalation no longer applied. Where she walked, fighting stopped. Sometimes she dismantled fleets without firing a lethal shot, stripping propulsion systems and rendering war machines inert. Sometimes she stood between armies and refused to move, her presence alone making further violence pointless. And sometimes, when no other option remained, she ended conflicts decisively, surgically, permanently. She did not enjoy it. That was why the armor had chosen her. The galaxy began to change its language. Wars were no longer won. They were finished. Conflicts no longer dragged on for generations. They ended in days, sometimes hours, because someone finally had the strength to enforce peace, and the wisdom to stop once it was achieved. The councils protested. The empires raged. The powerful feared her. Arden did not care. She was not a conqueror. She was a conclusion. And that terrified everyone far more. On the day the last active galactic war ended, Arden stood alone on a quiet world, watching a sun rise over a sky unscarred by orbital fire. The armor hummed softly, content. You did what we were made for, it said. For now, Arden replied. She knew there would always be another conflict. Another broken system. Another impossible problem. And when that day came she would be there, not to win, but to finish it, because true power was never about endless fighting. It was knowing when to stop.